Hello everyone, Darko2012 here with Global Government News, covering an article titled Lawmaker, Climate Change Just Ruse to Control Population, coming out of the Salt Lake Tribune. It was posted on February 5th, 2010. Representative Mike Noel, the legislature's chief climate change skeptic, declared Thursday that global warming is a conspiracy to control world population. The House Natural Resources Committee then approved a resolution that expresses the Utah Legislature's belief that, quote, climate alarmist carbon dioxide related global warming hypothesis is unable to account for the current downturn in global temperatures. The resolution sent to the House on a 10-to-1 vote would urge the EPA to drop plans to regulate the pollution blamed for climate change, quote, until a full and independent investigation of the climate data, conspiracy, and global warming science can be substantiated. And he's referring to, I guess it's somewhat recent, I believe it was a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, where the EPA declared CO2 a toxic waste, or a toxic chemical that contributes to global warming. And that was this is how the elites operate. They couldn't sign a binding treaty in Copenhagen because of the Climate Gate scandal, so they kind of just scurried off back into the dark, and basically Obama and said, okay, well, even though a good deal of my country doesn't really support this theory or regulating CO2, we're just going to go ahead and declare it a toxic substance, so they can still kind of have their carbon tax indirectly. It says that we're at the breaking point, said Representative Carrie Gibson, the resolution sponsor, who warned that the supply of safe and affordable food is already threatened by overregulation. 11 Brigham Young University scientists defended climate science in a point-by-point rebuttal to parts of the resolution and urged the panel in an email to reject the measure. Quote, even if all the political solutions proposed so far are flawed, they said, this does not justify politicians attacking the science that indicates there is almost certainly a serious problem. Oh, just almost. And he says here, this does not justify politicians attacking the science. No, it's called being skeptical. And before, they used to refer to people who were skeptical, which most scientists, should kind of respect that, right? If you're skeptical, then you're pretty in line with the scientific method. And so, before they used to call us deniers, right? Climate change deniers, like you're a Holocaust denier. It's a pretty good psychological strategies they have. But it says the Utah Farm Bureau, a strong backer of the resolution, pressed many of the same scientists, along with LDS Church owned by BYU, to apologize for comments they had made critical of the previous legislative climate discussion, and that the remarks of one witness who disputes humankind's role in global warming. Quote, I would call on Brigham Young University and Summer Rupper to apologize for what they have said Farm Bureau CEO Randy Parker, who's assisted Gibson, an Ogden farmer, in presenting the measure. Both BYU and one of the scientists involved indicated Thursday there would not be an apology for comments regarding University of Alabama researcher Roy Spencer's work. Quote, we attacked some of his positions, said geochemist Barry Bickmore, who signed both BYU letters. We didn't attack him. BYU spokesman Michael Smart noted that the scientists who have written to the legislator have said all along that they do not represent the school's views. Quote, the faculty have always been clear that they are speaking for themselves and not for the university, he said. He said the university does not take a position on this issue, so we do not have a comment on it. Parker, a member of the 2007 Governor's Blue Ribbon Advisory Council on Climate Change, and Gibson told the committee that the climate science was motivated by the chase for research dollars, that climatology suffers a credibility crisis, and that the work of skeptical scientists is being squelched. And that is talking about how these scientists are basically dependent, their research and for the most part, their livelihoods and their credibility are all embedded and entwined in this man-made global climate change theory. So, yes, it is under attack, and that, like I said, it's because of the Copenhagen scandal, where the emails indicated that were leaked from the main research facility, and I believe it's East Anglia in the UK. And those emails indicated that they didn't know how to manipulate the data to fit their agenda, and so referring to the downturn in the temperatures this past decade. And so this is how the science works. And if you don't look at certain things, certain factors, and equate them into your research, then you will get the desired results. Much like how aspartame was passed by the FDA. It says they also describe devastating impacts on the economy and farmers if the EPA succeeds with proposed regulation of carbon dioxide as a pollutant under the Clean Air Act, and if Congress enacts a cap and tax law. It would be crippling to the economy, said Gibson. What it comes down to is agriculture is being regulated and taxed to death under this kind of mentality. And you would probably be asking yourself at this point, well, why would the Farm Bureau, be for this bill? Well, that's pretty much how it all works, right? The oil companies want this cap and trade bill and regulations of CO2 because it helps them keep their monopolies, and helps them keep their monopolies in this what is eventually to come, this transformation into a more energy efficient world. And it says Representative Phil Rison, Democrat Holiday, questioned Gibson about the, quote, conspiracy wording in the resolution. A conspiracy, he asked, by whom, to what end? I'm not sure we'll ever know the depths of it, said Gibson, adding that it was hard to separate the hype because we can only hear one side of the argument. Representative Roger Burris from Centerville, who supported the anti-regulation part of the resolution, called the wording pretty inflammatory and counter to the legislative standards of civility. But Noel defended the conspiracy wording, pointing to an out-of-print textbook. Ooh, look at this. This is pretty interesting. Ecoscience, Population, Resources, Environment, written in the 70s by biologist Paul Ehrlich, his wife Anne, and physicist John Holdren, about the potential hazards of unchecked population. And this is pretty important because this would have never came out unless it was talked about on Alex Jones's show, where he basically read excerpts and posted this. It's a textbook. It's a textbook, a school educational textbook that talks about drugging the water and forced one-child policies, and sterilization, and calling the population. And this is our current science and technology director for the Obama administration, who is also called on spraying the atmosphere to modify the weather, which they're already doing. But anyways, the Kanab Republican, referring to Holdren as the Obama administration's energy czar, read from passages of the 1,000-plus page tome about population control alternatives that include abortion and forced sterilization. So there you go. He did not share the author's conclusion that voluntary population limiting methods are a far better choice. Now, if you can't see the connection of a conspiracy to that, the legislator said, you're absolutely blind to what is going on. This is absolutely in my mind. This is, in fact, a conspiracy to limit population, not only in this country, but across the globe. So he stuck to his guns, and it's probably the smartest thing that you can do, is not just keep talking, not really talking out of your ass, but just, hey, show them. The science and technology czar that is in charge right now in the United States help write a book about indirect population control measures, where they do it sneakily behind the scenes and in the dark, which is what the New World Order does. So thank you, everybody.